mildly embarrassing.
Why is this embarrassing?
You can.
Whatever. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Oh my God. So the room is a little messy. It's actually far better than the craft room is. The craft room's a fucking disaster half the time.
People expect your craft room.
Yeah, whatever. It's our bedroom. It's not like it's dirty. It's just got stuff because we're busy people.
I need to turn that light off next to your head. Not that one, the one behind you.
Turn this one off too.
Because there's a big old bright light right behind
Maybe go turn the light off.
This is a new setup.
This is a completely new setup. I actually kind of like this.
There.
Oh my God.
I don't want people to judge me.
Nobody's going to judge you. Are you going to come here and sit down with me?
Fine, until I get bored.
What? We're doing our live stream. This is our Tuesday live stream, but for UK people. And I actually really like this new camera. It's actually got a much bigger picture than the old camera.
You are not allowed to judge me. We're still not finished cleaning your old room. You're getting the bill.
Wow, I really like this new camera.
You can see the paintings in the back really well.
Yeah, I mean,
I just switched this.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, this new camera is really nice.
Are you going to share the link like you normally do?
I closed everything out, but
Well, then I guess we're not. I think I might be able to. I can share it to our stuff.
Yeah, share it on Discord. Get people in there. What the hell is everybody?
Probably still at breakfast.
Except this is our UK edition. Where are all my UK people? None of you were here.
When was the last time they actually?
And I'm judging you, Ray, because you haven't thumbs up this poor video. So yeah, it's a slightly different setup. The potato, the normal potato, is undergoing surgery right now. So here we are. This is crazy. This new camera is so much clearer. Yeah, this will be the new camera we're going to do live streams with. This is so much clearer. How's the sound? Can you guys hear us okay? Ray, can you hear us okay? I mean, obviously he responded to you. You're on your judgment. That just happened. The fan fell out of the window. Why? I don't know.
Because it sucks. That's why. Give me a second.
So this is our normal Taco Tuesday. This is our normal Taco Tuesday. I haven't gotten our mail yet. We probably get it in about an hour. Oh, actually, no. You want to quick check the mail on your own?
Oh, yeah, sure. You know, it's
You know what? Hey, you said you're bored. I'm offering you up. I'm giving you options. We may have to do the regular stream from here. This is a lot of fun. I got her checking the mail right now, though. So yeah, the last month in Warhammer, talking for our UK friends here who have not shown up, they've abandoned me. Any mail?
No.
Okay. We haven't gotten the mail yet, buddy. All right. Well, then get some sleep. The picture's really clear. I can't get over how clear this picture is on this new camera. She wants to mommy.
No. That.
He wants out or wants in?
He's downstairs. Oh, look, it's the devil. No, Malal.
Hello, Commodore. I apologize that we did not make it to play our game today. My God, we slept in. Oh my God, we overslept by a few hours. It was crazy. Yeah. So you may notice that this is a slightly different setup than you all are used to. Well, did you win, Tommy? Did you win? What?
Given the comment he made,
Yeah. I said it. Oh, God, no. Did you bring the list I sent you with, or did you bring the other list?
What do you want? What?
He is a follow. He wants love. How did you not win? We'll have to talk about it out of here. I'll probably call you afterwards.
Oh, okay. Are you done yet? You done yet? Not done yet.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, we're not going to be using that. Old camera is done. The old camera is done. This is the new camera. Yeah, upgrades. Again.
The kill team list you gave me schools about. He had typhus, a caster, a fart cart, and plague brains. Oh, so he plays like you.
Oh, he had typhus and a caster. Yikes. So he just psychered you to death. That's nasty. Oh, that's a lot of fun.
If you guys can't tell, somebody is very energetic.
He's a good dog. And I said, good dog. So you had to come see Daddy. Oh, my God, dog. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. God, stop. Stop. Oh, my God.
The captain did well.
I knew he would. That's why I gave you the build I gave you for him. He should have done nasty. It'd be interesting to know because I would have taken.
Love you guys.
Yes.
Love you too. Maybe you should call me more.
Maybe we should video call. We have Zoom. We have Skype. We could video call. Yeah, I had it for work. We can also do it over Discord. All right. So here we go.
First, before we go into hobby news, I'm going to take a moment to share a thought or two over a recent somebody who passed away last night.
Oh, yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, our King T'Challa, the Black Panther, died last night in LA in his home of stage 4 colon cancer. Turned out that during the entire time he was filming the Marvel movies, he was undergoing extreme treatments and surgeries on and off for pretty much the last 4 years of his life. He's very sad. Yeah, Wakanda forever. May he rest in peace, and may the family find some measure of peace in all of this. So that's a bit of fandom.
He's a young man.
He was 43 years old.
He's a young man.
So that is my nerdy news update. Because
Oh my God, dog! What the?
you know, he was just a really talented actor. He was a talented actor,
Okay.
good guy, and he is in the mood.
You're in the mood today.
Can't get on the bed, so he's just flipping out. So, yep, there's that.
I agree with you. Cancer can't go fuck itself.
Very much so.
Two of the people I love more than anything else in the world. One has died of cancer, and one has been affected by cancer in a very invasive way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my wife. My wife was a cancer survivor. And the fact that I lost one of my brothers to cancer.
Who decided not to tell anybody that it had gone terminal.
No, he kind of had, apparently. I just...
Missed that statement?
No. Denial's a bitch.
Yes. So, but yeah, I come from a family of cancer survivors. So at least I have that going for me. But yes, cancer is an awful thing, and someday maybe the pharmaceutical companies will pull their heads out of their bums and actually start allowing us to, I don't know, maybe cure it.
Well, problem isn't the first pharmaceuticals. Honestly, one of the biggest things that are holding us back in cancer treatment is the government.
Okay.
Stem cell treatment.
All right, well, we're going to move on off of this subject now.
Because I love government talk.
We are not a political channel. No matter what he talks about off screen.
Oh.
So we are going to go over what was talked about. First, let's do a quick. As you can see, we are not at the bench, so it's kind of hard for us to give a full at the bench. But Big D can talk about the project that he has been working
The
on.
potato
And that too.
is quite baked. It's getting fixed right now, but I need to get a couple new cords, and then I'll get this camera hooked up on there. Yeah, I'm not real happy with the state of the potato right now, but
Personally, I was like, wait, I didn't realize that stuff was contagious.
yeah. But it's working itself out now, so that's okay. It's actually all right, Meeks, my friend, my smash
Drive safe.
captain.
Drive safe, be safe. Try not to break any laws.
You know, it might be really neat to actually do the regular weekly live chat from here. I mean, it's nice.
I need to organize a little bit better.
You know, that'd be funny, but
Should I go get the salt?
I think the big thing that would make it would be nice is that I've been thinking about moving the computer out of the crafting.
We've talked about that because you were worried that possibly the dust from us fixing and why do I have a feeling we're getting close to unloading the circuit?
Shouldn't.
Well, anyway, we talked about that. There was a talk about shifting the cameras in here where I can work at my workbench, which is directly behind Dee's head at this that's my actual work desk when I'm doing my commissions and stuff like that.
So basically move your computer to that.
Yeah.
And move my computer to here.
Yeah. It is a possibility. I'd see more.
Would you like to do that?
I don't know. We'll talk about it off screen.
No, this is something that infects the channel. I don't have any of our UK people here, so this is a good conversation to have.
People totally want to hear us. You know, we're still talking about on the bench. On the bench. Sit there first. I'm trying to keep them on subject, guys.
No.
He's almost worse than Nico Freak.
No. All right. What's on the bench? Crap load of wolves. Man, I am painting wolves left and right, and I am enjoying it again. I'm also getting on some extra Death Guard that I worked in there. I picked up the
No, here.
No. That's no fear. Yeah.
So furniture placement thoughts.
Furniture placement thoughts with Lady D and Big D. Okay, this will not make any sense to anybody out there, but you never want to talk about moving furniture with Lady D. If you want to understand, just watch us your reaction. You go, hey, hun, Hunter base?
I only do it once every 6 months now.
Hunter base.
Once every 6 months. Okay, so real quick segue on the Hunter base thing. So we used to play City of Heroes together, and I had started this.
That's actually where I met her.
I started this group called Hunter. It's based on a organization in one of my stories. Anyway,
Supernatural superheroes that hunt monsters. That's all it needs to be said.
basically, in my storyline, in my story, they are a secret agency. In City of Heroes, they're not so secret because everybody knows monsters and superheroes exist. I mean, there's an entire area where there's 2 gods going at it.
So anyhow,
Anyway, so as the leader, I got to build the base.
because superheroes have super bases.
It was a lot of fun. And runs with Caesars.
Yep.
I rearrange my room every 6 months, feng shui, or maybe it has to do with the moon. I don't know, but I feel better afterwards. I'm not the only one who does it. Okay, so yes, I kind of miss City of Heroes too. Kinda. It's actually back.
It's back if you want to play it. No, it's back if you want to play it. It's up and stable and running and happy and blah, blah, blah.
We just don't have time.
I refuse to get involved in another video game, MMO,
It will suck.
because it sucks all my time. It sucks. TTGPP superhero game.
Anyway,
I don't know what TTGPP.
tabletop. GT is tabletop. I don't know what GPP means.
Oh, tabletop game. He's using way too many letters. It's PMP or TTG. He put them both together. You're talking about a tabletop game or a pen and paper. Same thing. Tabletop. I got one. I got 3. And I like all 3 of them, actually.
GURPS, Torg.
No, superheroes. He said superheroes. I would never run superheroes in Target.
You get to deal with the dog.
Okay?
Well, I explain Hunter base.
Yeah, pen and paper. I got one.
Go deal with the dog before he barks again. I will kick you.
Superhero game. It's an idea.
Anyway, so the bases were actually kind of fun. They could get really complicated, and I would spend hours in there just doing stuff. And then we would get it all set, and I'd get a bug up my butt, and I go, this would look better here. So people would come in, an hour later, and Arif, where's the library? Oh, I moved it to the northwest side. Arif, what happened to the med bay? Oh, that's on the south side of the base now. Go south from the entrance. You'll find it. And this happened with regular frequency because somebody, one of the best base builders I knew, went and explained using graph paper to plan them out. So I would sit when I wasn't in the game with a piece of graph paper, figuring out what is the most optimal layout to get what I want.
I was kind of good at building bases.
So now I get a bug up my butt every 6 months or so. Not 6 months. I only do it twice a year. And I have to rearrange. I have to rearrange. And it makes them crazy because sometimes, as some of you know, I have a bad back.
She'll do it when I'm not home.
He'll come home and the bed's been moved. And the dressers.
Yeah, it's a base in the pocket shifting bedroom. All right.
So that's why he teases me when it comes to how best to rearrange and organize areas because I'll come up with these crazy ass ideas. And if I ever start a sentence when it comes to things like that, with I have an idea, the look I get. So, yes.
And it's not that I have an idea. So I was thinking about rearranging a couple things. That's her way she starts off. I was thinking about rearranging a couple things.
What are your thoughts? And I ask his thoughts.
She does. Here's the difference. I'm the guy that once I get a room in the organization that I want it in and it's the way I want it, I'm okay if nothing ever moves ever again.
But see, the problem is then I end up learning better ways to optimize space.
Or at least deciding this would be better.
I've talked to you first about
I
it.
don't disagree with you there.
Are you people seeing this little donut in my arms?
No, not.
She's not letting me leave.
Donut.
So anyway, yes. So that's a little segue about doing furniture placement with Lady D.
So anyhow, so on the bench, I've got
So,
a ton of wolves on there, and I've been working on wolves, and I'm working on some Death Guard. I got the Death Guard half Bonono Fear Box because she got the other half for her salamanders. I also picked up a copy of, since they're out of print now, I picked up a Lord Felthius's cohort. And had to mod the crap out of them because although you can put them down as a cohort officially, they're terrible. They're actually really terrible. One of the guys doesn't have weapons, so he couldn't actually be used with regular Marine. So I just modded the crap out of him. I just replaced the arm that's just hanging out there with an arm that's carrying a weapon, so that I can actually use them as a regular Blightlord Terminator. So I'm working on some Terminators because I want more Terminators. I eventually want a squad of 10 Blightlord, or at least 2 5-man Blightlord Terminators, because they're awesome. I would love to have 2 sets of 5 Terminators for, especially now that Terminators, when the new book drops, Terminators are getting an extra wound. So Terminators are going to 3 wounds. Death Guard Terminators with 3 wounds. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. They will never die. Just nope, not dying today. Oh God. When those updates drop, everybody's already talking about how they're gonna hate to play Death Guard. And Death Guard's going to be so top tier. I disagree that they're going to be top tier, but they will finally be super competitive. They'll be able to hang. They are gross, but that's the thing. They're still slow. I mean, there is some reality to the fact that they are still super slow on the table. And the other thing to remember is compared to other units, they don't have big punchy weapons. This is the thing that everybody keeps forgetting. Death Guard don't have big punchy weapons.
Are we still on the what's on the bench?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Death Guard don't have big punchy weapons. I mean, they don't have rocket launchers. They don't have missiles. They can do plasma. Plasma's high strength, but doesn't do a lot of damage. They don't have anything that does really lots of damage that's really strong. That's why everybody's like, well, why are you taking Meltas on your Terminators? Because I want to give them some punch. And Meltas are the future. I really, really believe Meltas are the future. I mean, I'm the whole thing I'm doing with my Death Guard, the ones I'm building right now. Again, this is why I did so much on the bench. I'm converting them. A lot of them had either bolt guns or had regular weapons. I need more Meltas. So I want, because Meltas are an assault weapon. So one of the strengths of Death Guard is they can move their full movement and advance and then shoot assault weapons without a penalty. I can put two Meltas in a 5-man squad of Plague Marines. Yeah, that's a good thing. So I need 6 Meltas. So that's one of the things I'm going for. So I got a lot of figures on the table right now. I just finished up my Rhino last night. I did the base coats, did some wash on it, and then I went back and redid the highlights on it. It's done. It's sealed. I like it. I didn't actually do any transfers on it because it's a proxy. It's really technically not an official model. I'm not even sure it's the right size. Someone needs some coffee. No, she needs her. Please sponsor us. We'll show your product all the time. Monster. If Monster sponsored me, we'd be wearing Monster shirts and Monster hats all the time.
He'd be wearing that.
You'd wear a hat.
No, because you're stealing all my damn hats. Actually, no, Caesars, I have had a little too much of that monster already. So I am very trying to pay attention, trying to stay focused, and not wander off like the caffeine-fueled squirrel I am.
She can post a second home again.
That's not going to help because I'm going to just start bouncing my damn leg, which will piss you off.
It doesn't piss me off. It really pisses me off in the car. You make the whole car go, what the hell's wrong with the engine? Oh, it's you.
Normally, as Running with Caesars, I don't believe I have ever actually met you. So welcome to the show, by the way. I'm Lady D. And there's my
Mythos, my man.
As we did not actually do our customary greeting this time, we just started bantering with one another about the room.
Hello, crafters.
Hello, darling. This is Big D. I am Lady Drag.
We're great.
So anyway, normally when we do this, I'm over here just doing whatever. I'm painting or I'm writing or I'm drawing.
If you want to go get your...
And he has me sitting right here, so I'm supposed to be engaged, and he's just...
If you want to go get your thing and paint on canvas, I'm sure, would anybody mind if they got to watch Lady D paint on canvas? Thank you, Rose of Caesars. I appreciate that.
What is it?
He watches you guys off and on. He never comments. He loves us.
Oh,
well, thank you. I appreciate the commenting. Yeah, it's actually not even just a new angle, Mythos. We're in a completely different room on a completely different computer with a completely different camera. You talk about you having potato issues.
It's contagious.
Yeah, my potato, which has been having problems, decided to do a Windows 10 update last night and went, I don't know how to work anymore. And luckily I was able to get it working again, but not in time for not to get everything set up before the stream. What it looks like is that my video card was causing conflict. So I had to yank the video card and suddenly machine boots back up. So we actually might stay with this setup because this is really nice. There's a lot more light in this room, at least for camera. I love this new camera. This camera is courtesy of our lovely Patreon members. This was purchased using the last 2 months of Patreon. It is a very, as you can see, definite upgrade of the old camera. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, yeah, we're working during the day rather than at night. But yeah, and everybody, like, yeah, we love to see you paint. You can paint. You're always free to do crafting stuff while we're doing this. I can chat and you can paint. That's awesome. So yeah, it's funny because my original first few videos way back 3 years ago, they were done in this same location. Although I think I was on the opposite wall because that's where my computer used to be. But I'm kind of liking this camera setup. I like this. I don't know if it's the camera or the room, but it might be some of both. This new camera is just gorgeous. I'm looking at the screen. It's actually brighter on the screen than it is in the room itself. So this new camera is a huge update. It really does help the stream look a lot better. So we're really actually I'm really happy about that. So yeah. So while she is setting up, getting her paint station going. Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is just working off a webcam. I haven't done any adjustments at all. This, like I said, this was an emergency setup. Am I too quiet or am I too low, or what's going on with it? Or if you're talking about us getting an actual mic, that is the plan. Actually, the next step is to get I want to get a Yeti Blue. I can get one pretty well priced, and that is the next option is to get a Yeti Blue. Quick checking to make sure my sound settings are all. Yeah, it sounds good there. All right, so yeah. No, the next thing is to get. Oh, I don't like this little desktop. The next option is to get like a real microphone. So the next step is, like I said, I want to get a Yeti Blue. There's a couple other options, but I do definitely want to get a studio quality microphone next.
I'm just looking at the.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's the truth of webcams. Drinking my soda.
Yes, I am. I already drank part of it.
Yeah, no, that actually is the next up is to go paint.
Oh, wait, is it my turn to say what's on the bench?
Yes, why don't you say what's on the bench real quick? I was just kind of dragging up the conversation while you were.
All right. So,
They can't hear you in there.
I had to grab some things.
So here's the thing. Let me give the preface here. My lovely wife has been invited to participate in an art show.
So I am currently attempting to get enough pieces together so that I can sell them. One of them is this lovely. It's kind of an ongoing theme. I like drawing branches with the sky behind it. I don't know why. I just do.
This is good though.
So there was that. This beautiful picture right here behind me was another one that I did, which I'm really happy about. That one there is not me. That is actually my nephew Gavin's picture. He gave that to me for Christmas. So that's what that guy is. And then last night I did something a little bit new, and I'm glad that it managed to hit the mark that I was looking for. So
I absolutely love it. Was it one of my photos that you took this
no,
on?
one of mine.
Huh.
I've been meaning to grab a couple of yours and do some Milwaukee skate. So this is actually a scene in the city of Milwaukee when you're coming up from the south side of the city, moving into downtown. So, yep, this is when you're coming up.
It's actually really funny because if you know Milwaukee, these two smokestacks right here, that's the Jones Island plant, and that's a plant where they make Milorganite. If you know any gardening and you know what Milorganite is, that is where it is made. The mill in Milorganite is Milwaukee.
So this, we were driving home one day and I just happened to catch this. I wasn't able to take a picture fast enough. but this beautiful bright red sunset was, as you can kind of see the filth from the smog and whatnot, but we had turned, and before I could snap a picture of downtown with this, and it was really cool because downtown was all dark and black, so you really couldn't see any of its features. And then I snapped this of the smokestacks, and it was a first, so I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, pretty happy about this. He's taken a lot of pictures of Milwaukee around the area. My little brother also has tons of photos that I would love to get my hands on and paint. I think they're on my mom's Facebook, so I might be able to.
There's also the one over there.
I am not.
Right, but I mean that's. She's got another one that's like
this one.
This one. She got another one like this one, except it's set in winter. So all the tree boughs are covered in snow, and it's a gray sky, and there's snow falling in it. It's an absolutely gorgeous. It's actually, of everything she's painted, it's probably one of my favorites. Is that one?
I've got a couple of others that will never go anywhere, though. However, I do have a couple of viewers that are vying for one. They really want it.
I think you should add those gold lines you were talking about to that one and sell that. She's gonna go get it. It's honestly, I think, one of her best pieces. I think with her working with the minimal tones. What are you doing?
Trying to find that one that I did, that Heinrich and Hillchild.
Okay, so you're not gonna get that one. You're just looking for that one. Okay.
I'll pull that one down too.
No, I was talking about the branches one.
I was talking about this one. This one is currently being vied over.
This one is kind of an abstract piece. It's lovely the way she does this. There's a lot of subtle colors and a lot of subtleties to it. And I held it at an angle, and you can see more of the subtleties with this camera. No brushes involved in painting this one. Yeah, just painting of raw emotion. One of my favorites that she's ever done, the other one of my favorites that's up there, is another one she did like this.
Here's the one that he was talking
It's
about.
interesting. Yeah, I absolutely. This is like my favorite painting of hers overall. I mean, this is such an amazing piece. There's so many layers to this thing and so many subtleties. And the fact that it's only black, white, and gray. It's just,
Here's a little bit.
it's an amazing piece. Wow, that's pretty much photo quality. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. It's one of the pieces that's going to the show. We figure if she can get together at least a dozen or more pieces.
Might as well show it. I don't like this one.
She doesn't like this one. I
like either of these.
I absolutely love this piece. I absolutely. I will point out, I am a massive fan of now my brain's not working.
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson Pollock. I'm a huge fan of Jackson Pollock. And it's all about raw colors and expressing raw emotion using colors and shapes with meaning to them, organic shapes rather than straight lines and perfect flows. This piece expresses so much turmoil. It's just, to me, it's an absolutely gorgeous piece. I think it's also hilarious, and I love the fact that, you know, when I talk about how crazy she made me when she first started painting 40K miniatures because she was able to do wet blends like like it was just that's
Really?
what you do, and it was just like
Richard.
oh my god, Richard, good to see you. Yeah, it was just like, oh my god, your wet blends are so gorgeous. That's just how you use them. So I made fun of it at first because it was just like,
Yeah, I got told to get out of it.
I've been paid for 30 years and I can't get a wet blend that nice.
Yeah, I think the phrase I got at one point was "get out."
Get out.
I showed him. I was like, "Look," and he's like watching me. He goes, "Now, what you want to do with this?" I was like, "Da, da, 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 da," and he's like, "Those are advanced techniques you're using. What are you doing? Those are advanced. That's what I use on canvas."
And then she holds up this Stormcast that's got this flame just get out. Get out.
Get out, Shrek. Get out. And why is the rabbit thumping at us? She is upset about something. I have a very opinionated mistress who lives in the living room. She is thumping at us, and I don't know why.
The bun.
My freak.
The bun.
She's a bunny. She's a California New Zealand mix. She's very sweet. Very sweet. After we're done, I'm going to be taking her out of her cage. I'm going to run around the living room under her cage.
Okay.
She thinks she's a boy rabbit. So she aims for distance.
James Waddle. Okay, I have to look into that.
I've heard that with people who use oil on canvas can also pull off. God, can you imagine what the late Bob Ross's figures would look like if you decided to sit down and paint one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, wait, I don't have to wonder. I know. Hi, Brent.
Brent, well, that's the whole thing. Brent's he's a good painter. He's not an amazing painter.
I just love the
But the thing is, the way he teaches and the way he expresses that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
You may need to go and actually get me a plastic towel.
What do you need a new plastic palette for? I've got a dozen of them sitting in the cabinet. I have dozens of them. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, what the starving artist has been using as her palette.
I actually have regular palettes.
No, I need a big one, not those little circular ones.
No. There's a big one in the cabinet.
There's
one. It's one of the ones that's like this. It's got the hole in it for your thumb.
Because I've just been doing this. A little bit of wax paper down.
Why wax paper?
Not wax paper, parchment paper.
Why?
Cleanup is so much easier, and this is. And I'd rather it not be with my finger.
Well, I have painter's tape to tape that down if that would make it easy.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll get back to it.
All right. So yeah, I mean, painting.
That's what I've been working on. Hellchild, if you end up seeing this, I should have your picture hopefully done soon. For those of you who want to know how that's going along, check out my Instagram at lady_dragon28. There are pictures of that commission. To my dear Commodore, yours just got put to the back burner. The one who gave me their down payment just brought their canvas to me. So I'll be working on that one for a while.
You had the raw sketch of that?
Yeah, it's around here somewhere.
And then after we're done with this, we'll get back to talking about 40K stuff.
Sorry, we cleaned in here, and I'm trying to remember where I was shoving stuff.
But anybody who knows our streams know we kind of wander.
Not as badly as you, Nicholas and Freak do. Hey, you know what? We can do this as part of the giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. All right. While they're looking for the other picture drawing on, so 40K. Let's see. In the last month, because since our last UK friendly stream, Indominus.
Mittens was keeping it safe.
Mittens is keeping it safe. We have a lot of animals in this house.
Mittens is a cat who likes to watch Frosty Fist.
Bring it a little closer.
Here. So this is the raw sketch that was given commissioned of me to do for a coworker, actually. And it's going to be on a 38 by 48 piece of mat board that has been mounted.
And they want this in acrylic as a paint?
Yep. It's going to be a couple of days.
Yeah.
Straight work. At least one day just trying to get the sketch down. Right. That's the color I want to start with.
So in the background, we'll have Lady D painting. While I talk about everything 40K. Let's see, the last month, Indomitus is in hand, as are the new starters. We're already hearing lots of changes. I mean, the books came out and they had immediate change right after they came out. Oh, there's so much new stuff come out and so much new stuff coming up. Organized play. Actually, that's the big thing to talk about. Organized play.
I'm looking for my.
Organized play. There's been a couple of tournaments already now with 9th edition. A couple of GTs. Actually, I think there's 3 GTs that have happened. And we are beginning to see a meta form. But it's hard to say what that's going to be until we get some more codexes out. And the new codex is coming out in October for the Necrons, Space Marines. But what we've seen so far in the current meta, Marines, Custodes, and Death Guard have pretty much been the big boys on top of everything. War of the Spider did so much for the Death Guard. It took them from being in competitive terms. In casual play, they were great, but in competitive terms, they were not competitive. And they've gone from they're not competitive to a top tier team now. They had some problems with survivability, which is hard to believe, but in top tier tournaments, they had problems with survivability because of how slow they are. Well, shrinking the board helps some of that. And to be honest, I think everybody's looking at, I think most armies are looking at transports a lot more than they have during 8th. 8th transports were kind of like, eh. But now, I mean, every army, yeah, I agree. The new mission styles, the way the whole new thing is done. I played a game against Imperial Guard, and I outscored him in 4 turns. And we only played 3 turns. We only played first, second, third turn. I was first player, so at the end of my command phase, I was already at 80 points. And he was at 30. It just, the 9th edition wants to be played aggressive. It wants you to get in the other one's face, get across the board, get in there, score them points, just draw. It very much is a full throttle, at least with the way the new missions work out. It really feels like like you just want to go at just full throttle. And armies that can go fast, and armies that can move fast, and armies that can get themselves into attack placement faster seem to do well. I want to ask you a quick question here. Would you moving this way, like 2 or 3 feet, Would that help you out any?
Kinda. I just need to stay close to this thing.
Right. So I mean, if you move further that way,
Switch places.
yeah, basically. That way people can get a good view of what you're doing.
Wait.
Yeah.
How's that, folks? Is
Yeah, there we go.
that better?
That's better. I just want to make sure people can see you. I want people to be able to see how you're working.
Technically, this is your string.
No, this is our stream. I'm Big D, you're Lady D, and we are the Gamecraft Dragons.
I need more black.
Okay. Well, when we're done with the stream, we can go get some black. I want to get some. Clear spirits or some white spirits, so I can start doing some oil washes.
Yeah. You've got more oil other than that bag I gave you. There's
Yeah.
some over there too.
I just need black and brown.
Yeah. No, I've got black, brown, green, yellow.
That's great, but I just need black and brown.
Oh, I
But
picked them up because I want to try.
But I want to get some clear spirits to make oil washes.
Some of my paints are very old, folks.
Well, it's all about, again, yes, it's about getting there and not moving. You're absolutely correct there. It's about survivability. That's the other thing, survivability, which is why Marines are excelling, because Marines are really good at surviving. Custodes and Death Guard are the kings of surviving, which is why Death Guard is suddenly so good. They were good to begin with. The change of the missions helped them out, and then the adjustments in War of the Spider giving them more survivability. Playing the Sons of Mortarion with a Plague Surgeon, I don't see any other smart way to play Death Guard in competitive. The other thing that competitive, well, I take that back. That's half of it. Playing Mortarion Sons as with a Plague Surgeon to cover your troops is big. The other half, it specific with Death Guard, I forget the name of it. I think it's the Inexorable. I think that's what they're called, the Inexorable. They deal with demon engines. And that's the other thing that Death Guard are doing, because our demon engines are so unkillable. No, they're not the most efficient, other than maybe the tank. Why is it hard? Well, you could plug that light in there.
Oh, it's plugged in.
And turn it on and use it. And then you turn it on and use it. It's going to wash you out, but who cares? You're painted. Well, you don't want to soften it. You want you.
Soften the light.
Okay. Anyhow, and that's the thing. Making their demon engines being unkillable, so they can just go places and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And since they're all vehicles, hey, I get up in your face. None of our weapons are blast weapons, so we're just going to keep shooting you and keep shooting you and keep shooting you. You don't need to worry about that. You need it light. It's fine. I'm over here. They can see me. They can see your back over there. You're fine. They can see your painting. You need light to paint. Paint. So Death Guard are doing well because they're surviving. Custodes are doing well because they're the kings of surviving.
Unless you have to stop someone running on the board.
But that's not dying. That's the difference. That's specifically for Kill Team. Their problem in Kill Team is a strength in 40K. Now the other thing about Custodes, the fact that unlike every other army, all of their units count as objective security. So for every other army, it's their troops, just their troops. Custodes, it's everything. Because they're such a small army, everything they have counts for objective security. So it's number of wounds. So when they throw a 10 wound tank up there, or I should say a 10 wound vehicle up there, it's not getting off. Now, I hear what you're saying about assault armies, but again, it's all about survivability. Marines are very durable. Having 2 wounds, you'll notice the lists that have been winning haven't been the lists with the tacticals. I think when they give tactical Marines a second wound, it's kind of over. Marines are going to be nasty because now you're going to be able to put down 2 wound guys. A perfect example, looking at the Wolves. Look at the Space Wolves. Every unit will be able to put, every squad will be able to put a guy with a hammer and shield in it in that unit. So if we're getting hit with something that needs a big up save, we put on that guy. If we don't, we put it on the other guys. So you'll be able to adjust where that goes. That's fine. What you gotta do. Well, that's the whole thing with Death Guard with 2 wounds. You put Death Guard to 2 wounds, and you're just giving them a better chance to stay on. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that's not something to be really scared of. The idea of having Death Guard with 2 wounds means you're giving them with that Plague Surgeon. I'm rolling a 5-up. I'm rolling a 5-up for Disgusting Resilient. I've got Marine armor saves. I've got a 3-up base. I got a 5-up to get those wounds back. I've got a Plague Surgeon that lets me reroll 1s. If I'm playing it as a Mortarion Sun, I spend 1 CP. I'm rerolling 1s and 2s. No, that's the second company. It's Mortarion Suns. I want Teach-You with extra wounds. I really want Teach-You with extra wounds. I mean, but again, what is the flip side? There's a lot of talk about, and again, this is the whole thing. I'm telling you, yes, Death Guard are going to be great. Marines are still the number 1 army in the game. There's no way to say otherwise. They've got too many options, too many ways to play, too many toys, too many good things, good configurations. Marines are still top tier and going to be the number 1 army for a long time. It is going to be hard no, I think that's still going to be Marines. I don't want to play Marines. I don't know a lot of people that want to play Marines. I play against them. Honestly, the army.
I don't want to play against him.
Honestly, the army you don't want to play against right now is not the Death Guard. Even when you add 2 wounds, they're not the army you don't want to play against. The army you don't want to play against is Salamanders. Salamanders are, and you don't hear about it. That's the thing. If you're not following the tournament scene, you're going Salamanders. Why Salamanders? They are so broken right now. Oh my God, they are so broken. So here's the thing. Salamanders are the new Tau. They are the army that will shoot you off the table and you will do nothing about it. Because you're not playing them as straight Salamanders. You're not playing them as, oh, they're Salamanders company. No, you play them as a Salamanders successor chapter. And then I forget what the second ability you play with them with. But the first one you play them with is the, hi, you're on a -1 to hit me if I'm more than 12 inches away. The reroll everything was really strong. The problem is that's not their real big ability. Their big ability is what happens in third turn when their doctrine comes into play. And you're like, well, the game should be handled. Marines, without anything special, can hold the game to the third turn. Space Wolves fighting Tau are there until turn 3. Okay, so the way it works, when you build a chapter, when you build your chapter, you say, for example, I'm building a Imperial Fists chapter. Okay, if I'm playing them as straight Imperial Fists, it's assault. It's assault. It's not turn 1. The guys that have turn 1 are Fists, Iron Hands, and Dark Angels. They might be second. They might even be second turn, and that might be it because you can sustain it. It's the middle. It might be the middle one. It might not be assault. It might be the middle one. The one you can sustain for 2 rounds. So I forget what the middle one is called. Anyhow, let me explain what I'm saying here. So I'm playing a chapter, and let's say I'm playing as, we'll use the example. I'm using Salamanders. I'm a Salamanders. If I'm playing Salamanders proper, I use the Salamanders chapter ability, and I use the Salamanders Devastator or the Salamanders Doctrine ability. So I'm playing Salamanders. Now I'm playing Salamanders as a successor chapter. As a successor chapter, I use their doctrine, but instead of me using their chapter ability, I am picking a different ability. Now, the thing is that the limitation with that is if I'm playing a successor chapter, I don't have access to Salamander's characters or Salamander's specific. There's 2 tiers of relics. I only can access the lower tier of relics. I can't access the upper tier of relics unless I spend an extra CP. The relics for the Salamanders, from what I've seen, don't matter. I think there's one relic that does, but the problem is it is in the second turn that comes in. The Salamanders combat doctrine adds 1 to the damage, and I believe 1 to the AP of Flamer and Melta weapons. Now you add, I remember what the 2 doctrines here. You take the ability that lets them be, if I'm more than 12 inches away, you have a -1 to hit me. And then the other doctrine they take is that, hey, I'm adding 6 inches of range to all of my weapons, except Flamer weapons, which I'm adding 3 inches of range to. And now you have salamanders running around with a 12-inch flamer on their aggressors.
Okay.
Those devastating aggressors with the flamers that are now +1 damage and an additional AP. You've also got the new Devastators that have the melta rifles that now, instead of a 24-inch range, have a 30-inch range, have an additional point of damage, an additional AP, and if they fire on a single unit, they get to shoot twice.
Him, that guy, right over there.
3-man unit deleting things off the board with 30-inch meltas. The lists I've been seeing with the salamanders are running 3 groups of, not 3 groups, I should say. They're running 9 devastators or the aggressors, but they're not running them in 6-man groups or 3-man groups. They're running them in a group of 5 and a group of 4, or 2 groups of 5. Then they're running 2 groups of the devastators or whatever the huge guys are. They're running 2 groups of those, and they're running two squads of intercessors or 3 squads of intercessors, and the sergeants all have flame pistols, and they're just using them to run over and grab objectives. While they're using, they run them up to grab objectives, and then they're using these heavy, nasty vehicle killers to just, I mean, these are designed as anti-vehicular, but these things are wiping everything off the board. It's nasty.
Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what you play, but I mean, the salamanders are wiping people off boards.
Sorry, not sorry.
If they can stick multi-meltas on something, they put multi-meltas on it. And that's what I'm seeing when you get to the point where regular Marines, your standard tactical Marines go to 2 wounds. I'm already seeing people talk about sticking a 10-man group of tacticals into drop pods with a melta and a multi-melta in a 10-man squad, or worse, 2 5-man squads with a multi-melta. 2 5-man squads, each with a multi-melta, drop pod them wherever you want and go to town. With 2 wounds apiece, suddenly those tactical Marines running around with a multi-melta are cheap and devastating.
Still not sorry.
Nothing to be sorry for. I mean, it's nasty. It's nasty as hell.
I might actually have a chance against your tough part then.
Yeah, I mean, they're really gross. They're really,
Family motto: we build the broken lists. No, that's him.
why do you think you're trying to get you so many aggressors?
Because I want that.
Yes, but what they're going to do for your list is just nasty. Again, remembering that the sneaky walker has a flame cannon option, a flamer option, and to have him pop out wherever he wants. Boo! Hey!
Hey, I'll do it. Okay,
The salamanders are in 9th are nasty right now. I saw a list with white scars. There was one white scars list I saw that was gorgeous. But I was like, that's really frightening. They had three squads of Outriders in that list. And they went nuts. They went absolutely nuts. They were using assault intercessors for their troops. They were using Outriders for their for fast attacks, and then I'm forgetting what they stuck in. But it was they had Khan on a bike. They had a Khan on a bike. It was just, this list was just unbelievable. I mean, it was all about and all they did was they ran around the board. They just, and that was the list where last night when we were talking on Frosted Fist, that was a list where I saw them using the same Redemptor Dreadnought that I suggested the Commodore, where it's cannon bolters instead of the grenade launchers, and the anti-air cannon on top. And they would put that thing where they can come in on round 2, or where the circling, I think it's called circling, and they dumped it out and just ran up and just unleashing. Again, because dreadnoughts are considered vehicles, the fact that they can move and shoot with no penalty to their heavy weapons, it's all about volume of fire. I think you're going to see a lot more dreads coming back out of people more than just Iron Hands. Dreadnoughts of all kinds, Mortis dreadnoughts, twin autocannon, double twin autocannon Mortis dreadnoughts. Well, and that was the thing. That was the thing I loved about it, that they were using the White Scars rules to their maximum advantage. I mean, and the White Scars thing, I mean, their whole chapter thing is that they get to advance, and then they can advance and then charge. And that's what they were doing. They were just running up. Actually, I just realized the other thing I saw in that list, you guys were talking about last night, and I didn't get a chance to mention it. They were running Reavers in that unit. They were running Reavers with the assault bullpups on them. They just had one squad, but they were using them as a turn 2. They were using them as a turn 2 drop-in, so that they could put a squad of bodies where they needed them. That was actually one of the ones I was shocked by, because, yeah, I'm with you guys. I agree. Reavers aren't a really great. They haven't been good for a while. I mean, I saw a use for them specifically in a wolf list I was playing, but I was playing a very, very specific list with a lot of moving pieces to make those Reavers worth the waste. But that list had a set of 5. It had a squad of 5 Reavers that had the jump packs, and they had, or not the jump packs, but the little flappies, so they were off board. And then their plan was to drop them in on turn 2, and then they run up, shoot like crap, and then punch in, and just to tie up stuff. One of the big things with Ninth that I'm noticing, the more I see it played, I mean, I've actually played a number of tabletop simulator games. I've actually been playing quite a few games of tabletop simulator with random people on the internet, just getting dice rolling and getting some of the things down. And when I can't find people that are on my list of people I know, sitting down with tabletop simulator and throwing 2 armies down and just kind of moving around and throwing dice and looking at how things interact. and a very punchy. Oh my gosh, it's just you want to be on those objectives, contesting those objectives, shooting people off of objectives. It really the new missions in 9th edition. I keep saying this, but it really has made the game very aggressive. This is a very aggressive edition, and I think with the lore that they've built up behind Indomitus and the Indomitus Crusade, I think that's kind of fitting. The fact that the Imperium is seeing this resurgence, and the Necrons deciding we're going to make our move now, I think that's a good response, and I think to have the game reflect that sort of change and the play style. There were a lot of armies in 8th edition. One of the ones I know you hate, the Tau, were all about we're going to sit back and just shoot you off the table and then drop 1 or 2 units here or there to take objectives, but we're just going to sit here and just roll dice at you all day long, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's really not fun to play. And I don't mean play against. I mean, I don't see the fun in playing that. That's not interactive. And the interactive part's the important part. There's a lot of games that get played like a lot of card games. Magic the Gathering. One of the big things about Magic the Gathering is that when you hear people complain about specific decks, they're complaining about decks that you don't interact with. They do what they're going to do, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And they're just going to keep doing it, and then they win. Those are the decks that are considered broken. Those are the decks that are nerfed and cards are banned or limited. And that's part of the problem, is that it's non-interactive. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. I'm going to do what I'm doing, and that's going to win me the game. For a war game, that's not good. That's not good at all, because then it's not about strategy. And if a war game isn't about strategy, then is it really a war game? Or is it a war game, or is it a board game? And that was the biggest problem with the Tau. People would complain about the Eldar and the stuff they could do in 8th. Same with the Drukhari. They were really good at what they did, but they took skill to pilot. You couldn't just go, I have a Drukhari army, I win, yay! No, there were things you had to do. There were ways you had to play. You had to be smart about how you did them. Yes, they did what they did really well, but they didn't do it by just, I put them on the board and I win. There was a lot of movement. There's a lot of shifting. There's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of decision making. Okay, I'm going to use my fire and fade and pull back. There's a lot of back and forth. Again, right after their codex came out, when knights were new and broken, nobody wanted to play knights. Why? Because it didn't matter. You're not killing them, and they're killing you. I'm going to shoot at them for days, and they're going to bounce all that crap, and then they're going to turn around and delete me off the board. And they're going to delete me off the board, and they're going to delete me off the board. And and that's what got armies nerfed, because there was nothing you could do about them. I really feel like that's what Ninth has done. Ninth listened to those concerns and made it so you can't just sit still, sit put, roll dice, and hope to win the game. Even in the missions where you're placing objectives, because of the rules of placing objectives, you can't stick your little objectives back in a little corner where only you can get to them, and then pray that that's enough to get you to win, and you can just sit in your army and fire all day. A lot of the missions, at least I can think of at least half the missions, the objective markers go in a very specific place on the board, and they're scattered evenly across the board. So you have to move around, and you have to move around to them. And the other one is that there's one of the missions I can think of off the top of my head where if you want to score primaries, okay, I get 5 every turn for having 1. I have 5 every turn for having more than 1. And I get 5 every turn for every objective that's in there, if I have an objective in their area. Well, then I have to go over there if I want to score, because that adds up really quickly. 45 points, you want that 45 points. If you're not scoring your 45 points on your primaries, then you're leaning on your secondaries. And the problem is when you can only max out on 45 points on secondaries. I like just the new rules. The whole idea that there's a balance and maxes and points, forcing you to do multiple things, forcing you to move all over the board, forcing you to take things, forcing you to engage. It's good. It's real good. You cannot play this game passively. And I think that's probably the best thing that I like about 9th edition, is that it's not a passive game. Face-to-face, I've played, I want to say, a half dozen games now in 9th edition. I played one, and I'm not counting Tabletop Simulator because some of those we played for a round or two, and that was it, just to get an idea of dice rolling and whatnot. But a full game, I played, I want to say, like a half dozen games in 9th edition. I played one 2,000-point game, one 1,000-point game, and then the rest have been 25 power level or 500-point games.
Forget one of those games. Good thing.
Yeah.
Still here.
Yeah. And the thing that I've noticed, you're the 1,000-point game. Yeah, you were the 1,000-point game. The thing I have noticed about this game, I've won every game I've played so far. And every game I've played, I have been very aggressive. Like, I'm going to get up in there, I'm going to get up over there, and as quickly as I can start shooting you off of objectives or taking objectives, I'm pumping lead into you. And I've won every game so far doing that. Taking risks and winning those risks win this game. Taking risks and losing doesn't lose you the game.
When you play like
Not taking risks loses you the game. And that's okay. That really is okay.
There's no rules saying you have to play this. Just maybe I think with this new, and it's something that I need to think about, is that the way that the new edition is I need to think a little bit more proactively move, so now I'm gonna try and counter move it. Instead, it's gonna be, that's no board? I don't know, I haven't quite decided how,
Well, and that's the whole
what's
thing.
the best way to play
It
this.
depends on the army you're playing. I mean, honestly,
My elves suck.
your elves do not suck.
No, I take that back, he's right, my elves don't suck, the dice just hate.
The dice were really. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The dice were really bad for you. That I mean, my God, you could not roll anything but threes all day long. You were rolling so many threes. It was terrible. I mean, I felt bad. I really did feel bad because it's just like you're not doing anything wrong. You're dying in buckets. It's just terrible. I will be honest though. I think in the case of certain armies, there are certain figures that aren't good, and at least in this current meta, and until you can figure out a better way to use them, you need to focus on different figures. I think if you're going to play Drukhari, you need to focus on Kabbalites
Yeah, that's what.
and kind of take the witches and set them aside for now. Their Kabbalites really aren't very good right now. I mean, witches aren't very good right now. Yeah, they're just unfortunately, and it's not because they're not good figures. They're just super fragile until you get them into melee combat, and even in melee combat, the Kendra's home. Even in melee combat, they have, because of their strength, against Marines and against Chaos, they get their asses whipped.
Hey, I managed to hurt that damn prince.
You did.
Not impale myself on his spikes. So
You
I'm
did.
pretty proud of
You
myself.
did. You absolutely did. And that's the interesting point. If you took those same witches and you ran them into, say, a group of Tau, you'd have cut them to ribbons. No, you would have, because threes would have been what you needed for most of those rolls, because you had that bonus to do it. But again, I think the big problem is that, whatever, it's fine. I think the big thing to remember is that Marines are the standard right now. And so if you're going to play an army, you have to think about, how am I going to deal with Marines first and foremost? If you can deal with Marines, then you can deal with anybody else. And the reality is that witches aren't good against Marines. They need 5s to wound them. And they got problems. So you might want to go with Kabbalites. Now, if you're going to go Kabbalites, that makes you some specific other options. The other thing it does for you is that, notice I'm saying Drukhari, not Yannari.
Yes, I'm aware of this.
Meaning you might want to look at those Taloses.
Okay, so I'm going to say this again
No,
to you.
no.
You seem to be.
No. I know you know this. I'm saying this because I'm wanting to express this to the stream.
Now,
I'm-
I need to express something to the stream. For anybody who's ever watched me have a discussion about what I wanted to do with my elves, I wanted to have a couple of Talos on hand and Homunculus Guild because they're tanky as hell. Oh my god! And they can put a hurt on if you get too close to them. If you are playing Yannari, you cannot use them.
Yeah.
I already knew that. I wanted them anyway because I have my army set up in such a way that if I decide I can go all Drukhari, all Eldar, or I can do one of each because they both have the Craft World catchphrase
I reckon.
without running them as Yannari. The problem is if I don't run them as Yannari, I cannot use to frame the Vizar or the Yannari.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I recognize that. What I was going to say, that was the second part I was saying, when you play Yannari, when you play with the Vizark, well, let me first be honest. When you play with Yvrain, because the Vizark may or may not be a very good figure in current edition rules. We have to look at him again. I'm hearing bad things about him. I don't know how his stats work out, so I'd have to look at his stats. But when you're looking at your brain and you're running Yannari, you may, again, if to get that physicality, to get that physicality, what we need to do is we need to get your incubi built.
He's built. He just needs to be painted.
Your incubi?
Yes. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not common.
Yeah, you need to get your incubi. Why don't you show them what you're painting? I'm gonna go get the dog.
So I guess a wonderful update from Lady Dragon's Art easel. Here we go. Trying some flat new. Sky first. Trying to figure out what is the best way to do stars that isn't me going deep, 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 deep. Touching. That's not quite. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go for so far. I saw Drazar, Master of Blades, do really well. Yeah, I mean, I've got a Drazar. I just haven't built him. Or my incubi. Or my Goblin Gliders. Or my Howling Banshees. Hello, Heinrich. How are you today? Good morning to you, my friend. I've got a lot of different options that I can use. Even if there wasn't, if the potato had been more, you still wouldn't be able to see the daylight because there's no window in the craft room. We covered it up because he was complaining it's too bright. And I have a cat down here. You can kind of see her tail. This is Wasabi. She's very demanding of attention. Watch. See? Demanding little brat. Demanding little brat. She wants her attention and she wants it now. She just bit me. Anyway, so yes. Hello. I am half paying attention to the screen, guys. I'm just kind of focusing on this. I'm really not sure I'm doing this right. So opinions are, as always, encouraged. Opinions, comments, concerns. I always encourage them. I hope. So, hello. I cannot do anything with my hands. Right, that's got paint on it. She don't care. She does not care. So, I have no idea where you went. But yes, I'm attempting to do a night sky with a. So anyway, here is the loveliness and Wasabi being rat. I'm trying to figure out how it would be best to do stars, and I'm almost half thinking about doing it the same way we do Blood Splatter.
I don't see that would be a bad thing.
So, but we do have some of the other ones, so I'll worry about adding stars when I get to that point. Looks good from here. Okay. Ethos, I love you. I thought you said you're brothel brother or second pair where I'm at. So yeah, oh, I should write down.
Yeah, Drazar Master of Blades, actually, yes, he's the few Drakari lists I've seen. They've used Drazar. He does really well. I've seen Incubi using Talos, using Rax. Seen some really good Drakari heavy lists. Yeah, you got a box of some Drakari we eventually got to get into, but I think we want to focus on your salamanders first. I was just talking about specifically your Drakari because that's when you have the most of right now built and ready to play with. Would you agree?
Yes. How are you? Can I help you, madam?
Yeah.
Notepad. So that I can write down the colors I need.
Cool. Okay.
As I'm sitting here thinking about it, I figured I might as well just write them down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna be like,
She really is good at that.
she is being super demanding. I don't know why, but she is. Maybe it's because we're in the bedroom and we're not normally in here during the day anymore.
No.
Unless I'm messed up.
But and I can't be messed up with that right now.
List of hi.
It's Kaiser. Hello, Kaiser.
And Bruce. Hi Kaiser. Okay, let's see.
So as you can see, she's painting. It would be interesting to do like hobby streams from in here, because then I could bring specific things to work on, bring them in here, and then take them back in there. Yeah, I don't know how sold you are on this idea. I think I'm 100%.
We were going to talk about that after.
Yeah, I think I'm 100% sold on moving the new computer here and moving the computer out of the hobby room. And then use the camera specifically for filming. Just because you have more room to paint in here, and we're not all crowded up on each other. You know what I mean? I mean, that is honestly the one problem with the hobby room is that.
You don't have to wait a little bit longer until 1 week.
Yeah, but all that's going to do is let us move all the bookshelves into their room, unless we're going to move the actual.
I thought we were going to move the.
Or you move the gaming table into their room.
No, I thought we were going to move the bench and that stuff in there. Like you said, as a because it's more enclosed space. Use it for filming and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Possibly upgrade even more.
Yeah.
Our system.
Everything's in flux right now, but either way. So you said those oil paints are in the other room on the table. Is that what those are?
Yes.
See, I saw acrylics. I didn't see oils.
Yeah, these are all acrylics. Say acrylics. I do have to do a bag. Thing because I have a bag of watercolor by the tube, which I don't know how to use, and I have oil paint, which I don't know how to use. So, all is well. Had my actual brother visiting today with his wife. Yay! And children. Yay! Just came back from
Obligatory walk around London and tell them stories about the statues.
So that means if I go to London, you'll be my tour guide? Because otherwise I'm going to be that idiot tourist that's walking around with a book going,
Well, if we totally, because that is one of our. That is actually. I know that seems kind of silly. I know that seems really silly. Yeah, go see what's going on out there. When dogs freak out, it's something interesting because we live in a very secluded neighborhood. There's not a lot of people in our neighborhood. There's not a lot of traffic in our neighborhood. So the dogs are freaking out about stuff. It's interesting. It's a Kendra with a watermelon.
yes, it was. And dumbass is downstairs.
Well,
You can see it.
Kendra can deal with that.
Okay, so Kaiser, I don't know if you have seen some of the pretties that I have done recently. Because I know you always ask for.
I'm gonna let you show the art. I'm gonna go get the dog out because he's gonna make me nuts.
All right, so I love my darling Kaiser because you always ask me for an RJ whenever you see me doing something that's non-mini related. So you see these two paintings that are over here on the wall. The first little one that is a yes, you can see right here. The first painting of the sunset with the islands, that is not mine. That is actually my nephew Gavin's. Gavin is 17 now almost, and he made that for me 2 Christmases ago. That's my Christmas present. I was very happy about it. The one next to it, however, is all mine. So I'm very proud of that one and how it turned out. Then I have, hold on, it's in the other room. Oh, there it is. So we have this one. I don't know. It kind of does look like the Loch Ness Monster, doesn't it? Let me bring it closer. Okay. So here is this guy. I need to do some editing. I didn't realize I didn't finish the glow of the moon very well. But, so here's this one. And then, yes, he did the, oh no, the one that I just picked up, and that one was mine. I did that one. It's this little guy, which is.
Yeah, I said he did that at 15. Yeah.
Yep, my nephew did this at 15. So, and I may or may not have bullied him out of it for my Christmas present. I love my nephew. And then this one here is the current favorite of our dear brother Mythos.
And it's the opposite of the skyline. It's looking the opposite direction of the skyline in Milwaukee.
When you're coming up into, from the south side, moving into. Thank you. There are no actual cars in there. It's just headlights and taillights. So thank you. Thank you very much. And, oh, there's another cat here. What crap. And then this is the one that I'm currently working on.
Closer, into.
Looks better from afar. So,
I want to get her to do more urban shots.
well, that means I need to go into your Instagram and download some pictures. But I will happily do so. Hello, Kinder. Oh, give me one of those, please.
Yeah, I guess I can show you what I need done, but you guys like split.
No, we're actually in the middle of a live stream. Oh.
After the live stream, I'll happily take care of that for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I totally agree with you. There was a period of time where I was working for the casino here in town, and I was working third shift. So I was able to get these late night photographs coming off of the viaducts over the river, either late at night just before the sun's completely diminished, or first thing in the morning as the sun's coming up from the east side of town. And I've been doing that all day. That's going on.
Mhm.
It's not that hot outside. There is a very, in my mind, there's a very interesting visual beauty to urban settings. If you're on my Instagram and you go to some of my very earliest posts, you'll see a couple of my favorite photos that I took, really trying to capture some of the urban look here in the city. Perfectly honest, when I was in West Virginia for a visit with some friends, I took some photos out there of some of the tumbled down urban and suburban settings, which were just phenomenal looking shots. There's an entire website called Urban Decay, I believe it is, where it's photographs of Detroit as parts of it have been left in ruin, as parts of it abandoned, and seeing the city being reclaimed by nature, watching houses, watching houses being consumed by nature, watching houses collapse and fall down as they're left to burn and nobody bothers to stop them from burning. And so there's these husks, and then, nature takes its course. Some incredible photography.
Mhm.
Very evocative. Emotion provoking. One of the things I want to do Yes, I'm actually familiar with that. There's a series I've seen on it, and I've seen a couple of documentaries. Just amazing. When you can find the ones, if you enjoy that, there's one on Detroit that's just amazing. There's an inside of a school that they go into that's just phenomenal. I wish I had a camera or a digital camera or a cell phone, and this is pre-cell phone day, unfortunately. In the early to mid 90s, I worked at a brewery here in town that had closed all of their executive offices. Like they suddenly, like one day, they were open, and then the next day they just closed all their executive offices and all their administrative offices, and they were running the plant from somewhere else. So there's all these desks and there's all these offices that are just closed in time,
Well, there was. It's not there no more.
and they haven't touched them. And the thing is, they were closed in like 83 or 84. So they had been shut for a decade. And I got in there as security, and I had to patrol through these buildings to make sure that we weren't having people sneaking into these buildings, or homeless people breaking in these buildings and stealing things or squatting in these buildings or whatnot. And I wish I'd had my camera at the time, because there's so many incredible shots I would have loved to take. Really, really just. I don't know what it is, but there's something about urban decay on a whole, just industrial decay just coming down. There's a beauty and just emotional context. It's just really hard to express, but I find it fascinating. Hey, get out. Come on, get out. Being them-
Just in case someone wants to steal a four-colored prep monitor.
and a massive desk one. Yeah. Yeah, it was silly stuff like that. Um,
Oh, butter.
Not even monitors, because he's closed in the early '80s. So we're talking electric typewriters on half the desks. Well, you do one of your tubes pop?
No.
You need to get all over your arm.
I got that one there.
I'll be honest. It's actually one of the boards. It's interesting, but it's actually one of the boards I'd really love to do. I'd love to do like a full size fight board where all the buildings and the terrain itself is an urban setting, but has been completely reclaimed by the world that they're on. So the buildings are half pulled down, and they're covered in moss, and they're covered in trees growing right through the buildings. I think that'd be a fun board to play on, a fun board to build. And I've got a building built with that concept. What do you guys think? I think it'd be an interesting build to do. What are you sniffing for, dog? What are you looking for?
The crumbs, anything that's on the floor.
What is going on with you? Oh, baby. What's the matter?
I have been ignored all day. You will pay attention to me.
You're not licking my face. You know I
You
don't
will love me. Because nobody else does. Can't you tell that I am a starved, half-beaten dog?
You just want to play, is what it is.
It's nice to be upside down. Have you seen it?
Then why did you want to come in here if you wanted to play? Because nobody in here loves you. Nobody in this house loves you. You are here. Nobody loves you. Nobody loves you.
Mess me up this painting.
Sit. Come. Okay, come on. Shh. I mean, one of the things that's been requested is that I show my method of making easy, good trees for wargaming.
You have easy trees?
Yeah, I have easy trees.
What would those be?
I haven't made them in a long time.
I was going to say, are we talking about the ones that involve wire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are easy.
They're totally easy.
That's why you were complaining about them?
No, I wasn't complaining about the one with wire. I wasn't complaining about the one with wire at all. I was complaining about the ones I made with the tubes. Yeah. Remember the monster trees? That had the faces in the monster trees?
What was the ones that you did for a
Contest, and they didn't even get looked at. and I threw them away. Yeah.
Dog.
You are just a bundle today. All right. So yeah, I really do. I think we've covered that enough to talk about what I think about 9th edition being aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. I think that's the key to winning 9th edition. I really think being aggressive. Everything I've seen, everything I've played, every game I've played so far. Like I said, I played 6 games so far. I've won every single game, and every single one was won by being aggressive. I think passivity. I think passivity is not going to work well in 9th, and I think that's why Imperial Guard are having problems right now, because Imperial Guard really is a passive volley fire type army, and that doesn't win games. I think that's why. Okay, out.
Stop now.
Out.
She doesn't want to play.
Out. You're done.
Living room. You guys didn't see that one. We just got. Right.
She had something on her foot, which was bugging her. She either stepped in something or whatnot. Yeah, because she was shaking it over here. Over here, look, she probably got a piece of tape stuck on there. And a piece of duct tape. I think, like I said, I think that's the big reason Imperial Guard are having problems right now, because they're not an aggressive army. They're a passive gun line, stand back and shoot kind of army. I honestly think that's why, of the different Marines, I think that's one of the reasons Fists are going to have some problems right now, because Fists really are we stand, we defend. No, you need to get up in people's face.
That's work.
I think that's why nobody's even trying to play Tau right now. I've seen, well, I shouldn't say no one's trying to play Tau. I've seen one Tau player in a tournament, and he got destroyed so badly the first day, he didn't even come back the second day.
And Mythos cackles with me.
Well, the problem is I gotta also say, he was playing his standard 8th edition list. And that trip with the price ups, you can't play those lists anymore.
You know what makes me giggle? And I know this is probably awful for me to compare,
But I listen to this and I just think of when WoW used to do it. It's, here's your expansion pack, and everyone's like, oh, I'm top tier. And then you walk into the new area and you're like, you are paced on the ground.
Yeah. I think that's exactly it. I think with more games, people will figure out how to play other armies.
I think we're going to see a lot of salamanders.
We're already seeing a lot of salamanders. I think you're going to see a lot of salamanders. I think as people understand or play them more, I think you're going to see white scars. I think Blood Angels and Space Wolves are in a really, really good place right now. I think they're both in just a fantastic place right now. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
what's the comment?
Oh, he's saying, I'm thankful for the points hike on shield drones too. Yeah. That's the whole thing. I think some of the points hikes don't make entire sense, but and Tau is not one of them. But I think the points hikes. The idea is that you have to make a smaller army. That's part of the other problem. Is that Ninth wants to make armies smaller. I mean, you look at a 500-point army. I built a Custodes 25 power list. It's 5 figures.
Yep.
It's 5 figures. I built a Death Guard 25 POW list. And it's 12 figures. They want smaller armies. I think when you get to smaller armies, then that's exactly what I was going to say, Kaiser. Smaller armies mean a faster game. Faster game means more games. The other point is that smaller armies mean more tactical games. That's why terrain is so important. One of the biggest complaints you heard about 8th is that there's no tactics anymore. It's just point and shoot and point and shoot, and there's no tactics. I think now that we're seeing terrain in play and we're seeing smaller, tighter armies, we're seeing how to wedge extra figures into a list. I think we're going to see far more tactical games. And I think also we're going to see more variance in lists. Because somebody's going to see the way they play, these figures are going to work better for them. And somebody playing the same armies will say, yeah, but the way I play, I see these figures. I think the perfect example is playing Space Marines. Some people are going to really adapt to playing high volume fire lists, and some are going to adapt to playing sneaky, aggressive fire lists. Mythos last night was talking about how he was re-evaluating the incursors, realizing, oh, they've got this whole exploding knife thing. Hang on, let me back up a minute. Really good, but I wouldn't say Wolves and BA are in a fantastic place. If we're not charging, we die. Scoring's so good, we're going to limit our damage output. Yeah. See, and this is where I disagree. This is where I disagree, Mythos. In 8th edition, you were forced to play gunline. A pure melee army, you were going to die. Just that was what was going to happen. 9th edition, if you play a pure melee army, you're still going to pretty much get killed. I mean, Tyranids are doing like crap right now. But there are some firepower outpoint. There are some firepower. Nice. Incursors are getting -1 AP. I may actually have to look at getting that. No. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Props to the Wolf Box.
No. Not me.
One of the things that you still have to have some firepower, heavier firepower, now that vehicles are viable again. But like I showed last night, that means dreads. The dreads are going to become a thing. I think Space Wolves running lots of melee units with a unit or two of support firepower and then dreads. I think that's I've been working on a list. I think that's going to become a really great way to run wolves. I think they need it. I think the NIDS, after the Necrons, who I felt were in a bad place and needed a rework, and here we are in 9th edition with them getting a rework, I think the NIDS are the next army that really needs an overhaul. I think NIDS need an overhaul. And I know I have a lot of friends that play Chaos. I have a lot of friends that play Chaos, and a lot of them are complaining about where Chaos is at. I think the only thing that Chaos needs to be competitive, I think at this point, honestly, the only thing that Chaos needs to be competitive, considering they're showing up in tournaments as competitive right now, I think the 2 wounds to all Chaos Marines is going to be huge. I think that's going to be really, really good for them. But I think because of how variable they are, I think the one thing that they need, I honestly think they need to give Chaos Marines doctrines. I think they need to give them the same doctrines that they gave to Loyalist Marines. And if they want to make them more separate from regular Marines, and they don't want to give them doctrines, then they need to give them marks. And I think marks need to come back in the game and have meaning. So that marks take on a army-wide buff or a unit-wide buff, but maybe they don't change like doctrines, but they actually have a meaning. Like if I have the Mark of Khorne, then maybe I have a +1 to wound in melee combat, or my 6s explode or something. But give marks a use again, make marks mean something and do something to the figure, and then maybe that would really differentiate Chaos Marines from Loyalist Marines. Loyalist Marines get doctrines, Chaos Marines get marks. And then there are specific armies where the entire army gets the mark, i.e., Emperor's Children. Everybody in Emperor's Children gets the mark of Slaanesh. Everybody in World Leaders gets the mark of Khorne. Everybody in Death Guard gets the mark of Nurgle, and everybody in Thousand Sons gets the mark of Tzeentch. I think if they did that and made the marks mean something, you would see Chaos come right back to being on par with regular Marines. They've already got plenty of tools that regular Marines don't have. So I don't think we need more copycatting. We don't need Primaris Chaos Marines. I think Chaos Marines being old-style Marines, just give them 2 wounds, I think that's fine. But then we need to give them something to compete with doctrines. And yes, Mythos, dreads are good. Dreads are amazing. And I think in competitive, for wolves to be competitive, they need to lean on dreads a little more. I think having a couple redemptors and maybe an ironclad and having 3 or 4 dreadnoughts in a list, it's a good thing, along with having a heavy melee section. Impulsors need to be a thing. That's one of the other things I'm seeing. I really think we as Space Wolves, but I mean, a lot of Marines are like this. We need to get impulsors. I need an impulsor. I know I want to get an impulsor for my Ragnar so I can deliver Ragnar with a squad of 5 assault intercessors. I think having an impulsor with having 5 assault intercessors and a Ragnar and deliver them, zoom up and deliver that. Oh, that seems wonderful.
Friggin' damn cat.
This bullet catcher, sadly. Well, here's the thing.
See if this works.
I think you need a bigger brush. And I think you need to have the paint slightly watered down. That's the thing, to make that work, you need to have the paint slightly watered down. So here's the thing. I think that's the point. They are bullet catchers. But if they're catching bullets, that means other units aren't. Again, look how well that worked. That looks great. In smaller armies, if they're catching bullets, that means other units that are scoring points aren't. Again, also remember, terrain is, again, more important here in 9th edition. So keeping that dreadnought hidden behind a piece of blocking terrain so it can't just get shot all to hell. And then its first turn, it runs out there and fires for, moves its full movement and then fires like crazy. Again, because there's not the minus to hit, dreadnoughts are vehicles. They don't have that minus to hit anymore. Keeping them hidden back and then jumping out at full movement and spraying stuff down, again, we're back to viability again. I think that's the thing. On the other hand, with the way the new rules work, it doesn't matter. As long as it is behind a piece of terrain that is at least 5 inches tall. There's rules on the kind of lines. Oh, I can see its hand. That's not enough to be able to see the vehicle. Again, the new terrain rules, they really alter what that means. They alter what visibility means when you're not in a piece of terrain, but when you're adjacent to a piece of terrain. So that 5 inch tall, that piece of terrain that has a second floor, that the one that's in, I'm just going off of the one I know off the top of my head, which is the one that's in the Administratum piece. That building is 7 inches long and 4 inches wide, and it's like 5.5, 6 inches tall. You don't think we could take the ironclad? Okay. Probably could. But if not, then we take our I'm okay with that. Then we take our what is it? The dreadnought with the axe and the shield, which has an invuln save. And run him out there. Oh, the what's he called? I definitely would. Even with the rules that are in right now, give them a shot. I mean, you get together with your partner there in the channel, and try a quick 1,500. Space Wolves against him.
Quick. Those two?
Oh yeah, no, they're actually really quick in their games. Have you watched any of their battle reports?
Yes, the setup part.
Yeah, that's not something.
You heard the stories of the wolves that Lily gives them, right?
Things keep changing too often. Well, that's the thing. The word on what they do is changing too often. Nothing's official right now. But I also agree with what you're saying. I'm just trying to give you ideas because I love watching your battle reports. I love watching. You make me want to buy Bolt Action. You make me want to buy Flames of War. You make me want to buy Games Kaiser. My wife is looking at me like, but Kaiser said I should. I mean, I was looking at that Flames of War starter box. It's only $50. Right now? Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not if they're planning on trying to get me that booth. Unless these guys want to chip in.
I was into that on Friday when I get paid. Yeah, just itching my leg.
What are you not supposed to
I
do?
wasn't picking. I was itching my leg.
Not supposed to scratch either.
Well, I itch. I was kind of scratching itch. She abuses me. She abuses me. Don't you bring your paint near me, or I will hold you down and paint you up, and you will not. I will get a bunch of white and black paint, and I will sugar skull the shit out of your face. I don't care.
All right. Let's see what people think about this one.
That's nice. I like it.
Okay, guys, bringing it over for you. You guys can give me your opinion. Thank you. So I'm going to take that as my initials on it.
We gotta go get some satin sealer too, don't we? No, I don't have any satin. I have gloss and I have matte.
Kaiser, art person, what do you suggest for this? Money.
Well, what would you normally seal it with?
I've never sealed it.
Then why would you seal it?
I've been told you're supposed to seal paintings because it protects this from discoloration and other things that you allow my daughters to see.
All right. I hope you guys are finding this as entertaining as we are. that's the big thing. I think the next big game I want to play, I want to get a 2,000 point game in, and I don't want to use my Death Guard. I want to put together 2,000 points of my Wolves with this idea for this list I have. And
He says he can't hear me, so can you please repeat what I had asked you to ask him?
she wants to know, first off, Kaiser, are you an art person? 2, she's been told she should probably seal these, but she has no idea. She's never sealed her paintings before. Now, she's thinking satin. I don't know. And if anybody knows, I mean, I'm going to end up Googling it, see what Google says, but what do you people think? Do they? She's like, they need to be sealed. I'm like, do they? I don't know. What are you doing now?
I'm trying to put something up so that I can hang that thing up so it can dry.
No, just put it up there
I can't put it up there. It's still wet.
and let it sit there and dry for a minute.
I was going to grab another one.
Oh my God. This is my wife.
You love me, you married me.
I do. I do and I did. But you still make me nuts.
What the hell did you guys do on the wall in here? Swear to God. All in here is a ton of shit. No, we really don't have a lot of wall space.
No, we can get some of those command hang hooks. We got to go out. Just chill for now. We're going to go out in a few minutes. He's not an art person. He just enjoys art and enjoys creativity of other people. And he said he's pretty sure people use spray on varnish.
I know where to get some, but the problem is I know of like 3 different types.
So what we'll do,
They're all temporary.
is we'll Google it. Yeah, getting a venerable dread with that axe and shield. A venerable axe and shield dread, a redemptor dread. Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Ragnar and 5 assault intercessors in an impulsor. A smash captain. This is starting to sound like a really good list. This is starting to sound like a really good list there, Mythos. I'm going to have to try this. I mean, Bjorn's a beast. Bjorn's an absolute beast. I do have to say the one concern, though, man, if Skyclaws go to 2 wounds, they become an auto take for me. I've got a squad of them made. And just the idea of going to town with a group of them. And because I want to do Thunderwolf Cavalry. I mean, I'm already seeing like this massively mobile, very killy army that wrecks vehicles and wrecks troops. That could be a lot of fun. Yeah, Skyclaws would be nasty in that. Skyclaws and 2 squads of Thunderwolf Cavalry. I don't have enough points for all that now.
Hi.
I need a Bjorn. Being honest, Bjorn is my favorite character among all the wolves. Yeah, I need at least one more rhino for my Plague Marine army. Although the army I ran, the list I ran was scary. Plague Marines with a whole crapload of demon engines. Just nasty. The problem is that Plague Marines go to 2 wounds, they're going to go up in price. That is going to limit what else I have in that list. And they've even said it's going to go up in price. But I did have somebody point out an interesting interaction. Again, talking about Plague Marines. Somebody pointed out an interesting interaction that I hadn't thought about. Plague Marines have the guy with the bell on his back, the guy with the huge bell on his back. And he got in War of the Spider a new relic that any Death Guard unit other than Chaos Cultists and Poxwalkers get a 5-up invul save when they're within 7 inches of it. Now, that's really good for Plague Marines. I'm sorry to hear that, 99 degrees. We had 95 yesterday. It's down to like the 70s today, which is good. Yeah. I think comes worse, I absolutely agree with you, Kaiser. I think Death Guard will be a can you kill me? If you can't kill me, you're not beating any other army. Even if we're not the top tier army, we're a lump you got to get over. If you can't get past us, you're not getting past a top tier army. I think at worst they're going to be a mid tier army, but with 2 wounds apiece, that's going to make them really hard. What I was saying is that you can take now this figure with the bell and take the Demon's Null, and he gives everything within 7 inches a 5-up invul save. Meaning you can walk him up the field directly behind your Land Raider that went from having just a high toughness and a high armor save to now having a high toughness and a high armor save with a 5-up invul save. You spend 2 CP and you take that same Land Raider and now you give him Monstrosity, and now your Land Raider is walking up the field with a 5-up invul and a 5-up Disgustingly Resilient. Right. And that's the thing. I don't disagree with you. I mean, I'm running a Demon Engine army right now. But the idea that you can take a Land Raider with all of the firepower that a stupid Land Raider can carry now and turn it into a Demon Engine for 2 CP. Is it worth it? I kind of want to get a Land Raider and try it out. I mean, I want a Land Raider for my Death Guard anyhow. It's an iconic vehicle. I want one for my Wolves as well. The problem with the 3 Demon Engines that the Death Guard have. But do they? Do they in 9th? Do they suck in 9th? That's the point I'm making. I don't know that they do. They sucked in 8th. I agree with you, absolutely. They were terrible in 8th. But if the Repulsor Executioner is a staple of Marine armies, well, yes, you can get a Knight for the points of a decent Land Raider. And again, I have a list that involves a Knight. I don't know if I've shown you this. Hang on. Go get it. Talk to these people.
Wait, what? I just retreated. All right, fine. Little puppy. Moving. All right. Ha ha ha! It's me. How is everybody? Oh, he is eating way too many carbs today. We need to take this away from him. So he's going to get his Knight, and it has a tail. I love that. It's got a little tail. You're not eating any more of these.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked for real long.
I have specifically a Knight for my Death Guard army. Specifically for my Death Guard army. For when I really want to put that kind of hurt and pain on somebody. I love you, Kaiser. I love you, man. I mean, but the Knight's great, and I'm not knocking the Knight. I love the look. I love all the custom work I put into this thing. I love how Nurgly I've made him. It's a great vehicle. And he's looking at you. But Benny Warmont, well, about damn time you showed up. I'm just about ready to say your name, and you're only showing up now. Actually, I gotta be. again, here's the thing. Knights Riptides have invuln saves. I agree. But does a knight have the firepower that a Land Raider brings? Does it? Does it really? I don't know that it does. And if I can give that Land Raider disgusting and resilient, I'm thinking I can make a Land Raider work. Will it work for competitive play? Probably not. Honestly, truly, probably not. And, you know, there's some honesty there. Yeah, I mean, there's a get off my. There's a lot of fun in the idea of just a Nurgle knight walking up to a bunch of Marines going, "Get off my lawn!" Remember, they get to do that crazy stompy thing, and if there's a bunch of Marines there, they get to stomp, stomp, stomp. Get off my objective. I can't completely disagree with you, Kaiser. I really can't. The list I was putting together initially with my Death Guard, I really wanted to try and use my Knight just because I want to use this stupid thing. I love it. I love it so much. I want to use it. Well, Lady Dragon painted that literally while we started. She started on that as we started the stream. So she painted that during the stream here, buddy. She's been doing a lot of painting. It's really been great. Brian, chat. Mini Warmut.
Mini Warmut.
The problem is the knight that's all about firepower, the Castellan, is much more expensive. This guy, just quick looking back over their stuff here. You see, and see, it's the thing. Yes, a knight is all about firepower, but really, is it? You look at this guy. He's got the Gatling cannon. He's got this gun here, and he's got a missile rack. This one, the one that's affordable, is really about giving you enough firepower to get into melee range and chop the crap out of stuff. If I can take a Land Raider and bristle it with las cannons, more weathering. Dude, I think if I do any more weathering on this guy, I mean, between the base and the amount of rust I put on this thing, I mean, I used, I used a bunch of Vallejo armor weathering. Their armor shader. I used some Agrax Earthshade. I used some Nylic Oxide. And I used a ton of Typhus Corrosion. Like, there is all up in, like, all the joints and all the guns. There is just a ton of Typhus Corrosion all in there. Minnie, Warmont, you and I are the same way. My guys are grimy. My guys are grimy and dirty and messy. And I did a bunch of chipping on my the rhino I did last night. So there's a bunch of flakes of silver. I think I want to go back and do some more chipping on it. I want my stuff to look beat all the hell. And that's just my style of painting. My orcs are the only army I have that don't look all beat to hell. But that's because I look cartoony. My orcs specifically look very cartoonish. I like dirty. My personal opinion is I like them to look dirty and grimy and, running through the mud, running through the dirt, getting grummy. And, Kaiser, you're not wrong, especially with my you're not wrong about the whole Melta thing. Right now, my list for Death Guard auto includes a group of 5 Blightlord Terminators, all with combi Meltas, because that Melta is just so devastating. You should get that Castellan now then, Mythos, because Castellans fell out. They fell out like a year and a half ago. No, about a year ago when they got nerfed. I don't know, but that was almost a year and a half ago. It was they got that huge nerf not just this past May, but the year before May, in the spring FAQ that year. Castellans got nerfed all the hell. Massive points up, massive point upgrade. All their weapons went up in points, and Knights lost one of their big continuing stratagems. But it's funny because I was looking at 9th edition rules, and again, there's a reason why I want to get my 2 last Knights built, because I think Knights are going to become, I don't know if they're going to be I don't think they're going to be competition quality viable, but I don't know. Being able to move and shoot when they're in melee, I think they were all able to do that, though. I've never actually played, that's the worst thing about it, I've never actually played my Knights on a tabletop game. I really want to play my Knights, but I need 2 more to put a 3,000 point list together. And I've got them printed and primed. They're almost done being built. And then I can get finished painting them up and finish building. But I've got 2 more Knights to build, and I'll have my Wolf Knights done. Kaiser, there's a lot to be said for just having silly games like that. Winters had a battle report where he had a set of Chaos Knights. Right after the Chaos Knights Codex got released, he actually had a battle report where he had Imperial Knights versus Chaos Knights. That was a really good fight. That actually would be a lot of fun to play. So I can see that. And that's the thing. I've got a Castellan and 2 Armigers, and I've built 2 more. One's going to be a Claw and Gatling Cannon, and then one's going to be Battle Cannon and Gatling Cannon. I forget what class that knight is off the top of my head, but I've got those guys built. I've got those guys made and ready to go. I'm building their bases. And when I have the 2 of them with my Castellan and my 2 Armigers, I worked out the points. It's exactly 2,000 points. So should be kind of fun. The fact that you don't have to take, 100 and whatever points of Imperial Guard to give yourself the points to play with. Yeah, I agree. And I will admit, I was not entirely down for that originally. In the early part of me playing, yeah. knocking an Armiger, just seeing a Castella knock an Armiger down and stomp it into paste, just like, you little shit, get out of here. It just sounds kind of funny. But when I first got into 8th, Knights were like the top tier army. They were the unbeatable army at the time. And one of the things I didn't like about it was the fact that in my mind, and this was me coming back into the game after being out for a while, when I got out, Knights and Titans and all that, they weren't part of the game. They weren't even a thing at Forge World other than, I think maybe at the no, when I got out, I didn't even think you could buy regular Titans, the ones that they have now. Titans weren't a thing. The only Titans you physically saw, you saw them in art, you saw them in playing Epic games, because people would play, you could get Titans and play them in Warhammer Epic. And you would see people kit bash and build custom Titans, like the Walking Cathedral Titan, which I've actually seen I saw somebody build a 2-scale replicate of that thing, and it was amazing, but stupid because I mean the thing was like 7 feet tall. So I wasn't sure how I felt about seeing these guys on the battlefield because reasons. Let's just say that. And I have to say, playing against them once, buying a box of the Apocalypse box set, and that's the other thing, to be honest. When I bought the Apocalypse, when I sold my wife, I'm like, let's buy the Apocalypse Knights box set. The intent was, we can either build them and just have them because they're cool, or wait a couple of weeks, wait a month or two, and then resell this on eBay, because it's basically you're buying the Knight because it was the same price as buying the Knight, and you get the 2 Armigers for free. And then I realized I don't do that. It's plastic. I must build it. It must be built. I don't do that. It's good plastic. It must be assembled, and I couldn't do it. So, and I wanted more Knights, especially again after playing Commodore's Knights. I really wanted more Knights. I want to be able to field a Knight army. I would like to be able to field a Chaos Knight army, especially if I can make the entire army look this gross and decrepit and twisted up. I'd really love to get a full 2,000 points of Chaos Knights. I don't even think they're that good. I think the rules for them are kind of lackluster, but just the idea of having this giant, nurgly mass of giant robots coming across the field, I think that'd be a lot of fun. And again, I keep going back to Nurgle. Yeah, they do. They have a complete range of the Renegade Knights. They're great. They're great looking models too. They're basically the original Knights, the same as the other Knights, but they've replaced a lot of the symbols. So they've got the chaos symbols on them. They've got a lot of spikes. They've got, they do. They have a full set. They're really, really nice. They're really, really nice. I like them a lot. This I was lucky 3D printing. This guy, being honest here, this guy is 100% 3D printed, other than the base, which is an official GW base, but that is the only thing on this thing that is actual plastic. Most of these hoses are plastic or from like cabling or from piano wire. The chains are jewelry chains, and the figure itself is all 3D printed resin. So I gotta get my resin printer working. It's busted right now, and it's really upsetting me. That is busted. Yeah, really upsetting. And again, I'm dumb like this. The wife and I have talked about this because I love this game so much. I want an army. I want an army in every faction, for God's sake. I really do. I mean, I'm getting her into it. She's really wants the Thousand Sons army. She really.
For 40K, I'm gonna have the Salamanders as my Imperial. Xenos is my
So she has for Imperium, she has her Salamanders. For Xeno, she has her elves.
and for Chaos.
For Chaos, she wants to do Thousand Sons.
And for
Well, my D&D figures. Okay. We've got a D&D game that we're kind of putting together right now. Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah. So, I have a D&D game I'm putting together, and as we get some of those figures printed and put together, I will paint and put those up there. I got 8 minutes, yes, and then we're gonna be going. And we're gonna be again. We got some bunch of terrain I gotta do. I'm also gonna be eventually, not anytime real soon, but soon-ish. I'm gonna be running a Shadowrun campaign. So we're gonna be seeing me getting some cyberpunk figures printed and painted, and I'll definitely show those off as well. I've got a lovely bunch of D&D figures right now. I've got these huge orcs, and I've got these barbarians that I want to print it out. And again, I got to get my freaking printer working again. I'm so mad about that. So aggravating. It's frustrating. That's one of the plans for this weekend, which is why I'm being told to mind the time, because one of the things I have to do this weekend, actually when I'm done in here, is one of the things I'm doing is I'm going in there and getting some other things this afternoon. I'm going to try and get my printer working again. And if what I do doesn't work, then Elegoo is sending me a new printer because I'm not dealing with this crap. It's 3 months old. So I guess we're at that time where we're going to give a quick shout out to our lovely Patreon members. And then we're going to wrap it up with some final thoughts. Do they have 3D printer? I don't know. I've never looked, but I'm going to bet they do. I know that I've run into STLs for all the ships. And the reason I came across them, I was looking for ships for Battlefleet Gothic, actually, because I would love to get my hand. I found a copy of the rules, the original rules of Battlefleet Gothic. And I thought, man, that would be so cool. Print up a bunch of ships for Battlefleet Gothic and actually run that game again. But I realized I'm the only person I know. I am the only person I know that remembers that game and plays that game. And I know there are people on the internet that know this game, but I mean, I'm the only person in my local area and in my circle of friends that know what Battlefleet Gothic is and would have any interest in playing it. And that's a shame, because Battlefleet Gothic was a great game. And playing Battlefleet Gothic also, what got me into playing Battlefleet Gothic was Starfleet Battles, which was Star Trek's, which I believe was done by FASA, and they had their starship combat system, and you played with fleets of starships, and great set of lead models for that one. And that set of models, I know when they went on a print, people were lamenting because they were just it was FASA, such a great combat game too. And the game lives on. I mean, there's still editions of it, but to be able to do that with, and print the ships to fight with. I mean, ship-to-ship combat is still super popular, as told by, the Star Wars ship fighting game that's popular now, and Aeronautica, which part of me really wants to like Aeronautica. Part of me really wants to play Aeronautica. And part of me is going, why did you create a new game? Why didn't you just re-release? Hello, Nerdwing. Why didn't you just re-release or recreate a new version of Battlefield Gothic? It was great. It was such a fun game. So anyhow, as it is, I have not seen the uniforms. I have seen the ships. I'm betting there would be. There are a couple places to check. So that being said, as we're wrapping this up, I'm going to give a quick shout out to all my lovely Patreon members who make things like this brand new camera possible through their generous donations. I thank you so much, my Patreon members. And for that, I'm going to give you all this great shout out because I want you to know how much I appreciate you. So first off, at our Battle Brother level tier of Patreons, we have Inquisitor Zane and the amazing bare-chested Kirk painting Brian the Mini War Mutt. We have our Battle Leader tier Patreons, which we have Heinrich. I know more about Necrons than most of you, Batha. We have Joe, Goblins or Commissars 2, Bookish. We have my man, my brother from another mother, the man that understands why wolves are so great, Mythos Kushranada. And the wonderful, amazing Land Down Under Jesus. He is Kaiju Sharks. And lastly, we have our Warlord tier. These gentle beings give me $10 a month. And in return for that $10 a month, they get some extra interface time with me and some extra input for me time. And every quarter, I send off to do a raffle drawing to one of them. They're going to get something from me, something I've crafted here, something special, something individual. Last time, the drawing went to the Commodore, who won the bunch of that terrain, that crystalline terrain that I did up. I did a tutorial on about a year ago. He actually won that set of terrain from me for his own table. I, before the show started, did another drawing. Unfortunately, I had to take Commodore out because he won the last time. So I want to give someone else another chance to. And besides, I want to make sure everybody got some love. And don't want to take anything away from anybody, but I want to make sure everybody got some love. So drawing was between my other three members. Now, first, obviously, my Warlord, you got the Commodore. Coming in from high orbit, my moderator here, one of my moderators on my Discord, a man I consider possibly my best friend in the world. Man I love so dearly, Commodore. You're a great guy. I have my other three members. I have the Smash Captain who was here earlier but had to go. The Ultimate Smash Captain, James Meeks. My biological brother, Alex Drake, the Master Modeler, a man who taught me everything I know about modeling and then some. And then my lovely niece, Flight of the Phoenix. Now, I did a drawing earlier for a set of 10 desert bases. Now, that tutorial will be out tomorrow, but a set of 10 desert bases and in 32 millimeter and a 60 millimeter desert base to match them. I did a drawing for that, and Flight of the Phoenix, I had meant to give it to you this morning, but we ended up not making it to the game today. So the next time I see you, you are the winner of the summer quarter on Gamecraft Dragons Warlord channel giveaway. So you'll be getting a set of 10 custom bases and an 11th larger one. You can stick like a Penitent engine or something on and use other for your ladies, unless you want to do something else with them entirely. But it's enough for one squad and then one large figure. So, and tomorrow when I do the tutorial, I'll give you, you guys will actually see the drawing in that tutorial and get you a good close-up of what those things look like. So that being said, again, thank you to all my Patreons, and thank you to everybody that showed up here today. I really appreciate everyone showing up for my UK stream. I got to do better to promote this better. It's the last Saturday of the month at noon we do this stream. Because as big as this hobby is getting in the States, I mean, it's massive in England. It's crazy the amount of channels that, you know, are in England and are based in England, because that's where the hobby comes from. I mean, you can say what you want about, you know, wargaming. Wargaming really on a whole takes its roots in England. And Warhammer being the premier war game on Earth, I mean, the fact that we're doing a channel on it is great, but the fact is that getting a perspective, I love watching personally. I love watching a lot of England-based channels on the hobby because they have such a different perspective on things. The cultural differences between the UK and the US, very different, very different ideas on list building, very different ideas on prioritization, different ideas on everything, and I think it's great. And I just think with as many videos as I watch that are UK-based YouTubers, I like the idea of doing a US based in a time zone where I can interact with UK fans of 40K, not just because their stuff is great, but I want to be able to ask questions and get answers, or throw ideas out there and hear what they have to think. I mean, honestly, one of the reasons I love Kaiser's channel so much is that there's so much to digest there, and I love the quality of the work he does. I love the whole Modeling for Advantage channel is really great. It really is. I gotta say, it's a great channel, and I find it very enjoyable. If you're not a subscriber, please go and subscribe to Modeling for Advantage. It's a great channel. But I'm not joking when I say, you know, he makes me want to play games that I don't currently own. He makes me want to play games that I've thought about but didn't buy because I'm like, because again, wargaming is not as big in the States. And it's the truth, guys. You really are. You're really one of my favorite channels. I mean, there's a lot of good channels over there, but you are one of my favorites just because of the attitude and the charisma and the personality and the play style. I mean, I actually started hunting for that game that you were playing with the jungle tiles and the gene stealers jumping out the jungle. I actually went hunting for that game because that game looks hilarious. That game looks like a heck of a lot of fun. So, you're making me want to get Flames of War. I know I can get a Flames War starter for $50, which is not a lot of money. I don't even know who I'd play with. I ended up making Lady Dragon play the Germans. So, that being said, We're going to be seeing some more D&D content up on here. As I've got like I said, I've got a D&D campaign coming and growing, and I've got a Cyberpunk D&D, Cyberpunk the Shadowrun campaign. So we're seeing some stuff from that too. We're going to be doing a lot more terrain, but 40K is our bread and butter. So. Try Lost Patrol. Okay, I'll take a look at Lost Patrol. I'll be honest, the game that I really want to play, Flames of War is great. It looks great. I'll be honest, the game I really want to play, I want to play Bolt Action. Bolt Action looks like a lot of fun. Bolt Action looks really, really cool. So, especially taking it a little further and going to Conflict 47. Conflict 47 is right up my aisle. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really gets me going. So, and Bolt Action, for those of you who aren't familiar, Bolt Action is a World War II. It's a squad-based World War II game. The rules are very similar to 40K. So if you understand 40K, you'll be able to pick up Bolt Action really quickly. Conflict 47 is if World War II continued on and some weird shit happened. Americans end up with Walker tanks. Germans end up with Nazi werewolves and vampires. It's crazy fun and weird. So, all right, that being said, we are at the end of our time. So my last thoughts, final thoughts, as I do with every stream, my last thoughts of this stream are game more, but do it safely. Don't look at your list the same way you always do. Look at different ways to play what you got, and look at maybe something you can do differently. Sometimes different is good. Sometimes different is bad, but sometimes different is good. And don't be afraid to mix it up. I'm Big D. The sleeping woman over there is Lady Dragon. We are the Gamecraft Dragons. And remember, epic your board and epic your game and epic your life. Big love to all of you, my friends. Be well, and we'll see you on Tuesday.